Welcome to Podcasting and Vodcasting. Many organizations are using things like video to showcase their expertise and provide valuable information to buyers in a very easy to understand medium. The interview format is pretty common, as well as things like comedies, product overviews, executive speeches, and other ideas. An added benefit in producing a video for your organization is that the media, bloggers, and others in a position to talk you up tend to like to watch videos to get story ideas. So you never know. You may be pitching a great story idea to the media. I've got several examples, several links throughout the course of this presentation that I would encourage you to take a look at. They're wonderful examples of video and podcasting and how those are incorporated and help an organization really brand themselves and drive action. A lot of marketers are reluctant to focus on video because they don't see the connection between a video on YouTube, for example, or on their company website driving a sale. One student told the story of the reason why she chose to attend the University of Pennsylvania, because she saw a Pennsylvania video on YouTube as she was researching universities and fell in love with the school before she had even visited there. So that's a story that's not unique and kind of gives you a sense of the power that video has to drive emotion and to drive action. Another example of this is the series of Will It Break videos by Nalgene. Many organizations encourage their customers or fan bases to produce viral videos for them. And the Nalgene bottle one was so valuable to them because it's basically a series of ads demonstrating the seeming indestructibility of their bottles. So what makes it so incredibly effective is that it's not the company saying it, it's the customer, and that is just so much more powerful and resonates with other consumers in a much more direct way. Another interesting example of this was a campaign in 2009 that Tourism Queensland created. It was a video contest called The Best Job in the World, and the winner was chosen to be caretaker of the islands of the Great Barrier Reef. The main qualification: you had to be able to use social media to talk up the islands. If you really want to read all about this particular campaign, if you look in your book on page 77, that's where he really describes why this campaign was so incredibly successful. To give you a sense of that, here's some statistics. Their goal for the campaign was to get 400,000 new visitors to their website. They met and exceeded that goal within 30 hours of launching the campaign, so not even 2 days. The outcome, they had a 34% increase in people booking flights to go to that particular area of the world. So definitely a powerful testimonial for a fantastic campaign. So thanks to iTunes, all iPod users, iPhone users can subscribe to a feed, and when they plug in their device to the computer, new shows from the feed they subscribe to automatically download, and they're copied to their devices. So people who commute in particular, or who listen to their devices in the car or work out with their devices, can have access to these regularly updated shows whenever they choose. A podcast is simply this. It's audio content that's connected to an RSS feed. You don't have to have an iPod. You can have an MP3 player or a computer. Marketers can easily develop shows that target their buyer personas and deliver updated content that's useful and helpful. So, music. Let's talk about music for a minute. Before the web came along, bands that didn't have a major label behind them couldn't hope to get national or global attention. The best they could do was try to establish a local audience in a city or region and then kind of move up the ladder from there. Enter podcasting. Now, any band or DJ with some easy-to-use equipment can set up a radio station and get instant global distribution through something like iTunes. George Smith hosts something called the Eclectic Mix Podcast, where he challenges listeners to really take a look at some new and diverse music And at the same time, he promotes the bands that he really likes. On each show, he'll spotlight an artist and their music. So it puts the musicians back in control of the marketing. If they can do their own promotion, if they can work with somebody like a George Smith to help promote their music via social media for free, this has changed the music dynamic quite dramatically. But it's about more than just the music industry. A lot of other industries have discovered that content is really well delivered through audio or video for them. So politicians like this, churches like this, so supporters can keep up with politicians' speeches. Churches, they can have their sermons uploaded for people to listen to who can't hear them live. Customer service departments are finding out that how-to podcasts to keep users of their products informed about how to use their products really can be helpful. Companies that market to people who are on the road, like traveling salespeople, and have downtime in cars or on airplanes, have had success reaching people through really entertaining podcasts. So the other thing is that podcasting can really coexist well with blogging. It can coexist well with a great website, with ebooks and other marketing tools to help you develop this cohesive strategy. So, creating audio and video content requires the same attention to appropriate topics as other techniques that we've talked about. You have to target that individual buyer persona with thoughtful information that addresses some problem that they have. And by doing that, you build your organization as a brand that is somebody who is smart and worthy of doing business with. Now, it may require you to make a modest investment in hardware and software like microphones and video cameras, but that equipment is increasingly inexpensive, and the actual procedures and process is becoming less and less difficult, more user-friendly. So it's really not that big of an investment. There were flip cameras when we first kind of started being the rage. Flip cameras have kind of gone by the wayside now, but we all of us, but most of us will have devices on our phone, such as an iPhone. You never know where a great interview might present itself, and here you are with your handy camera on your iPhone to allow you to record an impromptu interview somewhere and then upload it very easily. This is very similar to the one, there's a link here for one that David Meerman Scott did, a kind of an impromptu short video called Do You Sell Camels? So I'd encourage you to take a look at that when you get a chance. But the phone camera allows you to always be ready to interview customers, employees, analysts, whoever might be a relevant interview, and then quickly post it on your site. Some of the options that you can use to get your video out onto the computer screens of buyers. Of course, YouTube is probably the most popular, but there are lots of other video sharing sites like Vimeo. You can link to the video site or embed the videos into a blog. IBM has done a successful series of videos posted to YouTube that are kind of mockumentary type videos, so I'd encourage you to take a look at that link. You could develop your own online video channel. Companies that take this seriously, like Weber's Grill Nation, they feature videos of grilling classes. Some companies have attempted what we call stealth insertions onto a site like YouTube. This is where they try to sneak corporate sponsored videos onto that site and make it seem like it's consumer generated. The YouTube community is very skilled at ratting out people like this. It's inauthentic, and they can tell. So this particular approach is fraught with all kinds of ethical danger. Now, vlogging is short for video blogging. That's where you actually embed video content into a blog. Then you have the text part of the blog that then sort of adds context to each video and also helps you a great deal with search engine marketing because you can use specific keywords to help people search. Vodcasting. Vodcast is like a podcast, but basically with video. And then you can also do what a lot of companies have found a lot of success with, the Nalgene bottle example that we just talked about. You can invite your customers to submit video. The Mentos campaign that we looked at previously. Another great way that you can use video posting and try to generate some viral marketing interest. Now, how do you actually get started with a podcast? The process? Well, you start with preparation, as you would with anything. You want to gather ideas for the show, create a script, think about your buyer personas and what you can discuss that would interest them. If you can record record when you're near a computer. If you do that, you'll need a microphone. You'll need podcasting software, something like Studio Rack, as an interface to create and publish your podcast. If mobile recording gear is needed, if you're out in the field, if you're going to do the roving reporter thing and interview people at events or locations, you might want something that's good for mobile. And then you could also do phone interviews through something like Skype. That's a great way to record both sides of the conversation. And then editing your files, which is optional, but if you do want to do some editing, Audacity is a software package that includes audio capabilities of a professional radio station and makes editing fairly simple. If you've got a Mac and you want to do video, then you've got iMovie there, which you can easily use to edit. There are other programs out there also. Post-production editing will sometimes allow you to take out some extraneous noise, so maybe there's an air conditioner that's blowing overhead. If you have a little bit more sophisticated post-production programs, you might be able to make it sound a little more sophisticated. Sometimes you can do what's called tagging the audio. You can add some text-based information about the audio, making it easier for people to find when they search on particular words. And then hosting and distribution are necessary so that people can easily obtain your products. So networks like iTunes would be an example of that. Then you want to make sure that you promote the heck out of this thing. You want to make sure people can find out about it. So don't forget to put links to your podcast on your website, in things like your email signature, all your offline materials like business cards and brochures. Make sure people know about it. And a companion blog can be a really good component to discuss the content of each show. The text in the blog, again, will be indexed by search engines so people can find it, driving more attention and more people to it. And a blog can also allow the show's host to write a few paragraphs about the content of a particular show, provide links, websites of guests who might be appearing, and just other interesting information. The key thought is this: audio and video content on the web has the potential to deliver information to buyers in really fresh and unique ways. So here is one example of a podcast. This is from a website called managertools.com. Each of their podcasts are about 20 minutes long, and it has a summary of the content along with a transcript of what's being discussed and some slides. So I'd encourage you to take a look at that one. The second example is an inside look at all things NASA, and it's called NASA Edge. It's supposed to be kind of an offbeat, funny look at behind-the-scenes NASA. I don't know that they really pulled off the humor part. I'm going to let you be the judge of that one. But just think about how you might incorporate podcasting and vodcasting into your projects. Would it be an appropriate use of these formats, or is it something that might not lend itself well to what you're doing? I'd pretty much bet that one of these two formats, either podcasting or vodcasting, could supplement all of your campaigns. So take a look and see what you think.